Officer Kelly Dever was sworn in as a Boston police officer not long after Officer John O'Keefe was murdered. It was a major milestone in her career, and at that moment, her future in law enforcement seemed bright. However, she had previously seen something that made her a crucial defense witness in the Karen Reed case, setting off a chain of events that would thrust her into the global spotlight, shatter her credibility, and turn her entire world upside down. Some see her as a victim, caught in a difficult position between powerful forces. Others view her as a liar, undeserving of any sympathy. The question we'll explore today is simple. Should we feel sorry for her?
Kelly Dever, last name D-E-V-E-R.
The first time you were ever interviewed in connection with anything having to do with this case or this investigation related to the death of John O'Keefe was by a separate law enforcement agency, not the Massachusetts State Police, not the Canton Police Department, correct?
Yes.
How long had you known and been familiar with Brian Higgins, say for instance by sight, to be able to recognize who he was?
Sometime during 2020 is when I was probably first familiarized with him.
Who's Kenneth Berkowitz?
He was the chief of the Canton Police.
Obviously very familiar with him. He was your boss, correct?
Yes.
Does the dispatch area also have monitors of internal security camera footage?
I know there was camera screens, but I don't know if they were on TVs or computers or where in dispatch they were. I don't recollect where they were or how they would be accessed. They were in the room somewhere. I can't be more specific. I don't remember.
What Officer Dever appears to be doing here is distancing herself from the security monitors. If she claims she can't even remember where they were located, how could she possibly have seen Higgins and Berkowitz on them? The reality, though, is that those monitors were almost certainly positioned within view of the desk, so the officer working there could easily keep an eye on them.
But you do recall seeing that there were monitors that were showing different views of internal security camera footage of Canton PD, correct?
The specifics, no. Were there? Yes.
I don't know what you mean by specifics. I'm asking you, were there monitors that you could look at that showed security camera footage from inside Canton PD, different areas, hallways, corridors, offices, the Sally Port, for instance?
So, 2.5 years since I've...
You keep saying 2.5 years later.
So let her finish her answer and then ask a question.
Sure.
It's been years since I've been in that room. They were somewhere in the room. Where cameras were in the Canton Police Department, I don't recall. The media's provided me information since this case took place, and I can't speak on what's my recollection and what's been media provided. There are cameras. I don't know where on my memory where they are.
So has the media informed you that there were internal security monitors at the dispatch location?
So the objection is sustained. Next question.
Jackson exposes a critical flaw in Dever's story. Her alibi, that relentless media coverage led her to form a false memory, crumbles under scrutiny. While the Sallyport footage has indeed been widely aired, the actual placement of the monitors inside the dispatch center has not. That's a serious problem for Dever. As Jackson points out in his letter, she described these monitors in vivid detail to the FBI, details she's conveniently forgotten, once under oath. Jackson digs deeper into this point.
What do you recall from the dispatch room, as you put it? What do you recall being there in terms of monitors?
I remember there was a computer screen that had information about current calls, and then there was a 911 screen next to that. Those are the two computers that I would have been positioned in front of during this time.
All of the cooperation Dever once showed to federal agents has now turned into open disdain for Alan Jackson and clear frustration at having to testify under oath. For Jackson, her testimony is all the more implausible given that he's read the complete FBI interview transcripts, records that reveal just how much she previously volunteered and in such granular detail. But today, she's reluctant to say anything that may help the defense, almost as if it's a different person completely.
Had you ever been in the Sallyport at Canton PD?
Yes.
What's the Sallyport?
A Sallyport is a garage, essentially.
Okay. You were aware that the Sallyport garage had a camera, a security camera?
It would make sense because that's where we bring prisoners to drop them off.
Well, more than just makes sense, I'm asking you, do you recall that it had cameras that serviced the Sally Port garage? Security cameras.
It's where we brought prisoners, so there would be cameras, yes.
Okay, you're saying there would be cameras. I'm asking you, were there cameras?
According to the media, yes. I've seen the footage, so yes, there were cameras.
Officer Dever dodges giving a straight answer 3 times, fully aware that Jackson is steering the questioning into territory she desperately wants to avoid. She implies, almost dismissively, that of course the Sallyport has cameras, but by that logic you'd also expect those cameras to actually function, which we know they did not.
All right, so hold on. So I'm going to strike that, officer. You have to answer the question based on your own independent knowledge. Okay?
She is dreading what she knows is now inevitable. Being limited to answering questions based solely on her own recollections puts her on a direct collision course with revealing her alibi, exposing that she's constructed an entirely false memory, something that she was hoping to avoid getting into if at all possible.
And if you don't have them, tell us. But you can't reference what you know from the media.
All right. There were cameras in the Sallyport.
Thank you. Ms. Dever, do you want to be here today?
I have no relation to this case,
I
so
didn't ask you that. I asked you if you want to be here today.
Objection. This isn't direct.
Hank Brennan objects, stating, "This isn't direct," a small preview of the way he would have handled Michael Proctor if he was called by the defense, and the judge enforces the objection.
So it's your witness.
I understand.
She can, no comments, just questions, not I understand that.
Do you want to be here today now?
I am put on the stand in a murder trial. I don't know why I'm here. I have no connection to this case.
You have no idea why you're here?
You've never talked to me. Nobody on the fence seems to talk to me since prior to the first trial. So I don't have any idea why I'm here.
No clue whatsoever, as you sit here, why you might have been called to the stand.
No.
Are you uncomfortable testifying?
No, it's part of my job.
You're a professional police officer, correct?
Correct.
That means you're a professional witness to a certain degree, correct?
In the crimes that I've gone on the stand before, yes, I have been.
And you understand the oath?
Yes, I do.
What is that oath?
The oath is to tell the truth.
Did one of the monitors that you looked at, that you had access to at the dispatch area, did it show the video footage or the video feed from the Sallyport garage?
So I already said I don't remember where in dispatch the screen with the cameras was. There was a camera in the Sallyport. So if I'm going to make the assumption, then yes, of course. But now that's an assumption.
I'm not asking you for an assumption now. I'm asking you, did one of the feeds, now we've talked about the camera, the other side of the camera is the feed. Do you recall whether or not there was footage that you could see on a monitor in the dispatch area that showed the Sallyport?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
My clarification.
How long?
So I don't know what that means. So what do you mean you're going to go with yes? Is your answer yes?
Yes.
Thank you. What time about did you take over the dispatch desk that morning?
Immediately following when the 911 call came in.
Would have been 6-ish in the morning. Does that sound about right?
Sometime, I would say towards the later of my shift, but it was the middle of winter and dark out, so I don't know if it was 4, 5, 6.
Understood. But it was still dark out.
Yes.
once you took over the dispatch desk, did you stay there even past your normal shift ending to support the investigation that was ongoing?
Not to support the investigation. I was just on overtime.
Okay. So you stayed past your normal end time of your shift that day?
Yes, on overtime.
You stayed into the afternoon, correct?
I believe the shift ended at 3:45 p.m. for the Canton Police.
Officer Deva clearly isn't sure what time she left that day. She's provided no evidence of it. She just claimed she believes the shift generally ends at 3:45 for the department. That may well be true, but it doesn't prove that she personally left at that time. She seems to be basing her entire claim about when she left on what time the shift normally ends. Not a very strong foundation to bet her entire credibility on. With so many officers inside the Sallyport when Karen's vehicle arrived, it's entirely plausible she was asked to stay later into the evening to help cover the desk, especially considering it was the day of a snowstorm. Furthermore, if we're to believe she's susceptible to creating false memories, then how can we trust any of her recollections? She's made her word utterly worthless, the equivalent of someone lost in delusion, except in her case, the delusions are embedded in her memories, not in her present reality. The after effects of this story on her career as a police officer is something she clearly didn't consider.
Did you stay past your ending shift time?
For my regular shift, yes, because I was on overtime on the day shift.
Did you observe anything unusual that stood out in your mind that occurred, pardon me, in the Sallyport while you were on that shift?
So we've discussed this previously. I can't make that statement on the stand because I've been provided information released by the defense that it was not a memory, that it was a distorted memory. Therefore, I can't state it because at this point it would be a lie.
This is the exact moment Officer Deva destroyed her own career.
I cannot make that statement that you're wanting me to make on the stand because I've advised that that would be a lie.
Ms. Dever, I've never asked you to make a statement one way or the other on the stand. I'm asking you an open-ended question.
Okay,
Did
so
you,
prior
let
to
me
the
ask
first...
you a question. Did you observe something in the Sallyport garage on January 29th, 2022 that you found unusual, that stuck out in your mind?
Given factual information that makes it so I know I did not, no.
So the answer is no.
Correct.
Do you remember being interviewed on August 9th, 2023?
I do.
That was by a separate law enforcement agency, correct?
Yes.
Two separate law enforcement agents, is that right?
Yes.
And you were advised during the course of that interview on August 29th of something, correct?
Can you rephrase that?
I'm sorry, August 9th.
So what was I advised of? Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Were you advised that lying to those officers would be a crime?
So it was a willing conversation. I've spoken with their legal team. Because of the fact I was provided factual information that showed a statement of mine was a false memory, it was not a lie. Therefore, I made it in good faith, and I retracted given information that it could not be accurate.
Ms. Dever, did you understand my question?
Yes, I did. You threatened to charge me with perjury during our phone call prior to the first trial if I didn't lie on the stand right now. I'm telling you, I did not see anything. Factually, I've been provided evidence by a timeline that it is not correct.
Ms. Dever, my question was this. Were you advised that it was a crime to lie to those law enforcement agents? Yes or no?
No.
They never told you, they never admonished you that it would be a crime to lie to them? Did they advise you of anything? Any consequences of lying to them?
So we had a willing conversation.
Yes or no?
I don't recall.
Okay, there's your answer.
You don't recall if they advised you of anything?
No, because it
As
wasn't.
a trained law enforcement agent.
Go ahead and ask a question, but both of you only one at a time, okay?
As a trained law enforcement officer, are you aware that it's a crime to lie to certain other law enforcement agents?
When you have intent to lie, yes.
Okay. So you knew that when you spoke to these law enforcement officers, correct?
Yes.
Did you tell these law enforcement officers that you, in fact, saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sallyport with the
Objection.
SUV? May I finish my question?
You can finish this question. Go ahead.
Did you tell those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, that you saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port together and alone with the SUV for a wildly long time?
That was my recollection at the time.
There's a clear pattern with many of the Commonwealth's witnesses in this case. When first interviewed by the FBI, they tell one version of events, driven by fear of federal consequences. But once that fear fades, they change their stories for this venue, where they feel much safer under Judge Cannone and the Commonwealth. That's because perjury charges would have to come from Norfolk DA Michael Morrissey, and he's not about to charge anyone who's bolstered his case. That's likely why so many of their key witnesses have felt free to lie over both trials.
So you did say that?
At the time, that is what I recollected.
Okay.
There's another major flaw in Deva's claim that the media somehow planted this memory in her mind. The Sally Port footage is missing 42 minutes. The clip is only a few minutes long, and it's unclear who is present. It could never have created the impression that Higgins and Berkowitz were doing something for an unusually long time. Furthermore, Higgins doesn't appear in either of the Sally Port videos entered into evidence. But there's an even bigger issue with her alibi that allows us to completely dismiss it on the spot. Deva was interviewed by the FBI on August 9, 2023, at a time when there was very little media coverage of the case. The Sally Port videos hadn't even been reported on yet, and were unknown even on social media. They wouldn't surface publicly until they were shown during the first trial.
According to the media, yes. I've seen the footage, so yes, there were cameras.
When you perform a Google News search for Sally Port Karen Reed up until August 9, 2023, when she had her FBI interview, there are 0 results. The next place to look to find out what was being discussed online near the end of the summer of 2023 is the center of the Free Current Reed universe. Back then, Turtle Boy was discussing things like the rolling rally and standouts happening outside Reed's pretrial hearings. Absolutely nothing about Higgins or Berkowitz in the Sally Port at all. So where exactly did she get this false memory from? This seems to prove she manufactured this excuse, not realizing there was nothing she could have seen to create the false memory before she was interviewed. It appears she had no desire to testify against 2 fellow officers, one of them her former boss. Desperate for an escape, she clung to the timeline, convincing herself it had to be a false memory. But in doing so, she never stopped to truly question whether that was even possible or how it would affect her career.
Did you have a conversation with anybody in the commissioner's office at Boston Police Department?
Not about anything malicious.
I didn't use the word malicious. Why do you say malicious?
I had a conversation, but it was my department saying, regardless of what I need to say on the stand, they support me.
You were asked to go to the commissioner's office, correct?
Yes.
How long had you been on the Boston Police Department at the time that you were invited to go up to the Commissioner Michael Cox's office?
It had to have been before the first trial, so, and I know it was when the agency released information to outside people.
That's not my question.
Miss Deva was invited up to the commissioner's office following the release of the FBI documents, which included transcripts of her interview. It feels likely that the Commonwealth, upon receiving those documents, realized they had a problem. It's clear someone from the Norfolk DA's office called Commissioner Cox and requested he intervene on the matter. We can surmise this because those documents were sealed and access was strictly limited to the attorneys. He would have no way of independently obtaining that information, which is likely why he's vigorously denying the meeting was even about the Karen Reed case.
I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you
Karen
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know he was even associated with that case.
Did you find it unusual that a rookie police officer would be called up to the commissioner's office personally to discuss a matter?
It was a reflection of how good of a leader he is. It was not anything that I found unusual, given the fact he is someone who wanted to show support for his officer.
She believes she's helping the commissioner by speaking up. But like a boa constrictor with its prey, every move she makes only allows Alan Jackson to tighten his grip.
So I'm guessing all of your training class or all of your entry classes at Boston PD, they've all gone up to the commissioner's office as well?
I don't know anyone else who's been in this particular circumstance.
We have employees here that we have to develop and encourage and do things, and I do that for tons of our employees.
Do you feel that you were inappropriately drawn into this as some sort of boogeyman?
That case is over.
At some point, did the commissioner say to you that Boston Police Department, insofar as your connection to this case is concerned, Boston Police Department fully supports you?
Yes.
Did he also say, do the right thing?
Grace, I've never have said those words together.
That's a direct quote, so I can't recollect if he said a direct quote 2 years ago.
A year ago, when you talked to us, the defense, did you tell the defense that when you were called up to the commissioner's office, he told you two things? Commissioner Cox told you, number one, the Boston Police Department supports you, and Officer Deaver, do the right thing.
So he said my name correctly. He said Dever, and
That's my mistake. Let's see. Like, you want me to repeat the question so I get
So,
that right?
Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead and answer, please.
yes, and he said nothing with the intent of guiding me one way or the
I didn't ask you
other.
what his intent was, madam. I asked you what he said to you. What were his words to you?
That he supports me.
And
Just wanted me to tell the truth up here.
his words were, do the right thing, correct?
I don't recall.
Officer Dever surely understands how damaging those 4 words, do the right thing, sound in this context. What's striking is that she herself told the defense that's exactly what he said during their phone call, a call in which she claims to remember plenty of other details.
They were essentially telling me what they were looking for me to say on the stand.
What were they looking for you to say?
They were looking for me to say that I saw Higgins and Berkowitz in the garage with the car.
It's important to note that when it comes to the most critical part of her testimony, she chooses to protect Commissioner Cox and uphold the thin blue line rather than simply tell the truth. In her defense, it's not clear she recognizes the mental gymnastics her mind performed to concoct this story and land her in this position. She may be completely unaware or willfully ignorant of it.
How many other times have you testified in a court of law during the course of your job?
Two dozen, 3 dozen.
In,
Actually testified probably ballpark a dozen times.
in any of those other cases, has Commissioner Michael Cox called you up to his office to discuss your testimony in any of those cases? Yes or no?
Instead of simply answering the questions, she's evasive, clearly weighing the consequences of her words and hesitating to respond. You can almost see her calculating what each answer might mean before deciding to hold back.
That's not a yes or a no answer.
Well, yes, it actually is, Ms. Dever.
So no comments, okay? Just,
You understand the question?
The question, yes. The implication,
She is literally actively trying not to implicate Commissioner Cox and unbelievably just admitted it.
The question is, in any of those, I'm asking you an open-ended question. In any of those cases, Officer Dever, not including this one, has Commissioner Michael Cox ordered you up to his office to discuss your testimony?
no.
Thank you.
Officer Dever smirks as her eyes meet someone seated on the Commonwealth side, apparently finding all of this quite amusing. She's clearly underestimated the seriousness of what's just occurred. As she sits on a leave of absence from the Boston Police Department, her credibility shattered, her career hanging by a thread, and entangled in scandal with Commissioner Cox.
I was never on the scene. I never spoke to a witness. I never met a victim. I never spoke with a suspect. This was just a random shift for me 3.5 years ago at a desk.
Miss Dever seems unable to grasp the importance of her testimony and continues to attempt to distance herself from it.
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case.
Everyone, it seems, is trying to disassociate from Karen Reed's prosecution. He knows full well that the Karen Reed fiasco is a career killer, and while he, along with the governor, the attorney general, and nearly every other public official in the state, understands exactly what's really going on, they all keep their distance. That calculated silence is precisely what makes them complicit. In Commissioner Cox's case, he is almost certainly lying.
What you told those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023 was, quote, you recalled seeing Higgins at the station later that day on Saturday. Dever thought it was also weird that Higgins and Chief Kenny Berkowitz were by themselves in the Sally Port of the police department, by themselves while Karen Reed's car was parked inside. Higgins was a witness and present at the gathering where O'Keefe was found dead outside, and then he was in the presence of important evidence. You were sitting at dispatch by yourself and saw on the camera outside of the Sally Port when they walked in.
Objection to the entire reading.
Deva's story grows in specificity, now including multiple camera angles. It's difficult to accept that she manufactured all of this based on non-existent media coverage.
Officer Dever, did you go on to say in that interview, quote, you never saw them leave, them being Brian Higgins and Chief Ken Berkowitz. You never saw them leave.
This may reveal when her shift really ended on that day. If she never saw Higgins and Berkowitz leave, it suggests she was still there after the SUV arrived, but left before they exited the Sally Port. That would place her departure closer to 5:30 p.m. and not the 3:45 p.m. time she originally claimed. And the 46 minutes missing from the Sally Port video would show Higgins and Berkowitz around the SUV for a wildly long time. Perhaps they edited Higgins out of the footage completely because they knew, just like Miss Dever, that as a witness he should not be anywhere near Karen's vehicle.
But you recalled thinking to yourself that they were in the Sally Port for a wildly long time together in there, end quote. Have you ever heard of something called the blue wall of silence? Do you think it's important for police officers to protect one another in the field and out?
Objection.
Sustained.
Have you spoken with anyone, not Mr. Brennan, he's covered that. Have you spoken with anyone from the district attorney's office about your involvement in this case? Ever?
No.
Never?
Unless you're going to provide a person, I've never talked to any of these people.
Have you talked to anyone at the DA's office at all, in any regard?
Not to my recollection.
How about indirectly?
Not to my knowledge.
Are you friends with any people that you're aware of that are connected to this case? Are you personal friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, personal friends with anyone that's connected with this case?
Other people who's been on the witness stand, one person, yes.
Who's that?
Sarah Levinson.
How long have you known Sarah?
We became friends in middle school.
For Dever to admit she's close friends with Sarah Levinson is really just a step away from saying she's friends with Jen McCabe. Sarah, a longtime friend of the family, is a fully invested member of the McAlbert Circle, and since she has presumably lied alongside them on the stand, she'd face serious legal jeopardy if that story ever unraveled.
My entire job revolves around what I say on the stand right now. If I was to lie, I lose my job. I lose everything. I'm here to tell the truth. I cannot lie while sitting on the stand.
It's her statements like this that leads me to believe she's willingly accepted her alibi as fact. Instead of trusting her memory, which by the way likely functions just fine, she chose to embrace an impossible story, convincing herself it must be true to maintain the status quo.
Because of the fact I was provided factual information that showed a statement of mine was a false memory, it was not a lie. Therefore, I made it in good faith.
She seems to truly believe it. The question there is this: is choosing to believe something convenient equivalent to lying? That is a question only you can answer.
Your entire job revolves around what you say on the witness stand. Is that what you just testified to?
Yes.
And if you agree that what you said to those two law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, you would be implicating not one, but two police officers, law enforcement officers, correct? If you agreed with what you said in August of 2023 on this witness stand, you would be implicating two officers, fellow officers, correct?
So I'm confused as to what you're asking.
You would be implicating, if you agreed with me, you have not agreed that that was the truth. You've now indicated that what you told to law enforcement agents in August of 2023 was a lie.
No,
if you agreed with that statement here on the witness stand, you would be implicating two officers as having been in the Sally Port, weirdly, for a wildly long time with the SUV, implicating not one, but two fellow officers, correct? That's what you would be doing.
it's not possible I saw
If
that.
you agreed with
Objection.
me, would you be implicating the reputations of two officers?
If I was to lie, then yes.
And your entire job revolves around what you say on that witness stand. That's what you said, correct?
I'm still,
That's what you just said, Officer Dever, correct?
I still don't really understand the question.
You just said, all I'm asking you is what you just said. I wrote it down. You just said, my entire job revolves around what I say on the witness stand, correct?
Yes to that
Thank
question.
you.
This testimony was so damaging for Dever that she's now on a leave of absence from the Boston Police Department. While there's room to feel sympathy for a once promising career ending like this, it's crucial to remember that every witness must be accountable for their testimony. All of them face consequences and no one wants to be there. Others manage to tell the truth without scrambling for excuses to rewrite their stories. It's these decisions that determine who the heroes really are. Whether she consciously lied or simply convinced herself it was a false memory, she chose a different path. Karen Reed was put in a far more dangerous position, and it was possible precisely because so many people chose that easier path instead of standing up for the truth.